back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running a tad wide. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
NASCAR history is emblazoned with racetracks from the past. Tracks like North Wilkesboro and Riverside used to fill the grandstands and the grassy hills with spectators from all over the area. Few of these tracks are still in raceable condition, but one of the best, one of the most famous, lies dormant in rural North Carolina. There's no better way to wake up a racetrack from a 2-decade slumber than with the sounds of over 20 V8 engines. And the Outsider Racing League tackles Rockingham Speedway in the penultimate race of the season, and it starts now. My name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finian DeCuna for tonight's penultimate race of the season. Finian, it's been a spectacular inaugural season for the Outsider Racing League, and this is a great racetrack to go to. It's always been fun when SeamTV visits Rockingham, and what a unique racetrack this is.
Yeah, this really is a fantastic track. It's one of those racetracks where you kind of wonder, why on earth does NASCAR not come back here? And really, it's just due to a lot of politics. Hopefully, there's a chance that we might come back here on the newer schedule. But for now, in the sim, we're going to be back with the Cup Cars here with all the downforce in the world these guys could ask for. And trust me, they're going to need it, especially with the banking on this track.
Couple new entries to the series tonight. One of them, Corey Silva from PTR TV, driving the number 94 Chevrolet Camaro. And he was really quick in practice. We'll see how he's got for race pace here in just a little bit, but looks really good alongside his teammate, Brandon Kreutz, the number 92 car, who I don't believe has jumped on the racetrack just yet. Now he is sitting in pit lane waiting to roll in that Air Movement and Fabrications LTD Camaro. And just waiting to get rolling here. But another driver that's been mighty quick in practice so far, Yusuf Ghali in the number 1. And right now you see Evan Black pulling off in the 92. But we were just talking pre-race fitting about Yusuf Ghali in that 1. When he shows up, he's quick and can win the race.
Yeah, and struggled, unfortunately, last time we were out at the Daytona road course, which is kind of surprising. We expected him to be a challenger up in the front, and he was, but unfortunately wasn't able to be consistent enough. But here we'll see, still waiting to go out onto the track. We'll see if he actually puts the qualifying time down at all and see where he lines up. But he was, of note, fastest in practice.
So time's getting strung up on the board right now. Adam Cabot in the 77. He goes quickest, and that time was a 22.751 to Jeremiah Vincent's 22.788. Points leader Eli Hinton still has yet to take to the racetrack at his number 13, but Finian, he could lock up the championship tonight if he finishes well. And you know, another name I'm missing on the board right now is the 48 of Jeff Wright. Finian, he might just have given up the championship by not showing this evening.
Yeah, actually, he's not even in after what happened to him over the course of the last 2 weeks, both at Gateway and Daytona. He's actually lost second place. He's actually, it's Elliot Butler now in second place, 28 points behind Eli Hinton. Jeff Wright's 30 behind, and unless he shows up in the next minute or so, he's going to drop much further down the order. Martin
Sproul in the number 19 Chevrolet Camaro. He's been really quick. This is only his 3rd week in the Outsider Racing League. He raced Gateway, he raced Daytona, and he's raced Rockingham, or he's about to anyway, and that guy has been mighty quick in that number 19. But also of note, the 30 of Jeremy Miller going to a new team next season, Finian, Vincent Motorsports for the driver of the number 30, and that's going to be a big improvement for him, I think. I think we're bound to see Miller climb up the top of the ticker at some point here in the next couple races, if not next season.
Yeah, I really am curious to see, once all the cards settle. There's a lot of movement for a lot of drivers to completely different teams, new teams forming up, and guys moving toward them. So it should be fantastic to watch next season, especially with a giant influx of talent as of late.
Angelo Ronis qualifying right now in his number 29 Dark Smoke Racing Toyota Camry, and man, that car is pretty. The Valvoline on the side of that machine, that's a really good-looking race car.
Yeah, Valvoline really should come back to sport. They have almost always had great paint schemes on the car. Has Angelo across the line. Unfortunately, he's going to be back in 15th as of now.
Yeah, no chance to go any quicker. Jeff Wright not here because of internet connection, Finian, so that's going to be the end of his season. Effectively, no chance for the championship right there. Clifton Cockrell, new sponsor on board this machine. Milwaukee Tools on the hood of that Camaro for the first time this season, so that's always good to see as checkered flag flies, and Martin Sproul was the one that stole pole away again, the new guy coming in and showing up the rest of the field. He's been so talented the few races that he's shown up so far, and although he's not in the points hunt, he certainly can steal victories away from the drivers that are competing for the points. So you mentioned Butler climbing the standings. What does he have to do to catch Eli Hinton these next two races?
He's pretty much going to have to win, if not finish second and third, and hope that Eli has some pretty bad races. Although I'm looking at that 13, he did not qualify, and I think he's realized he's got all the cards in his hand. He's just got to play them, and he's got to play it smart, and I think he's playing it smart by starting in the back here. I think he's just going to play it patient. No need to push. Honestly, if he can finish in the top 10, anywhere about, he'll easily clinch it without having to lift a finger, and that's if Elliott wins all the race and gets as many bonus points as he can. So Eli's sitting in a really good position, taking advantage of the points he has.
Taking a look at the track conditions for tonight, 77 degrees in the air, 102 on the track, so a little toasty out there, but nothing uncontrollable. Wind 1 mile an hour out of the north, and partly cloudy skies. As we get ready to go racing here tonight, let's take a look at our starting lineup. On the front row, Martin Sproul in his number 19 Camaro alongside Adam Cabot. New sponsor on board that car as of last week for the 77, and looking to get a little bit better run this week. He ran quite well at Daytona. Row number 2, Yusuf Ghali in third alongside Evan Black. First start in this series in that number 92. Row number 3, Jeremiah Vincent, Gerald Campbell in the 66, who at one point was the quickest car in practice, so we're looking to see if he can run well tonight. Row number 4, Corey Silva, the other new driver for this race in the number 94 Camaro. Joshua Banks in the number 36, and we'll see if his internet can hang on. He can get another victory. His teammate Alex Bell starts 9th alongside Elliott Butler, who's 2nd in the points. He's got a lot of work to do to catch Eli Hinton. We'll let the rest of that scroll on the bottom of your screen. Predictions for tonight, Finian. Who you got winning this race?
What do I got winning this race? I think it's a tough one. Honestly, easy pick would be that 19 of Martin Sproul, looking really feisty on the front. I mean, honestly, it's kind of hard to pick. You know what? Actually, I'm going to go for the surprise one, and it's not because we're good friends with them off the track, but I'm going to pick Evan Black. He's been pretty fast. I think he's made a few appearances in this league, if not some other league that we broadcast,
VRL
and has been pretty fast. It was VRL? Okay, so yeah. So I think he's going to have what it takes. He qualified in 4th, was pretty fast in practice too. I think we should keep an eye on the 92 tonight.
Bailey Turner starting all the way back in 20th place. That's a long ways back for the driver of the 24 Chevy Camaro. Eddie Trejo as well.
Yeah, a lot of fast guys, notably towards the back of the field. So we're going to see them start to climb towards the front potentially as the night goes on. So that'll be interesting to watch here.
Pace lap underway. It's 160 laps to the end of this race, and we're expecting some phenomenal action. This track is bumpy. It's rough. It's multi-groove. It's just a great racetrack all around. Looking forward to getting underway here again. We talked about banking pre-race as well, Finian. It's a lot steeper than it looks like on camera. There's a lot of banking to hold the car. You can really charge the corners hard. And there's a little bit of room to play with out there as well. It's kind of a weird mix of a short track and an intermediate, but I am ready to get this one underway. Field rolls out of turn 4, and pace car pulls off 160 laps. Is the 19 of Martin Sproul on the point. Green flag flies. We're racing in Rockingham.
And here comes the field racing off down towards turn 1. Into the banking they go. And it's going to be Martin Sproul taking the lead easily in turn 1.
Onto the back straightaway, everyone trying to get their racing room here early on the first lap. Don't throw your race away this early. You can't win a race on lap 1. You certainly can lose it. We've seen that in the past. Jeremiah Vincent in that number 8, a very fitting paint scheme to have running around here. The old Dale Jr. stylers. Corey Silva, again, his first start in this series, running 8th right now, trying to get comfortable here. Was talking to him pre-race, and he said that the car was really kind of all over the place, loose, tight, and everything in between. He's got to get a handle on that to be quick. There's Cabot out of line on Evan Black for 3rd.
Yeah, Black under attack. Here comes Cabot, as well as Campbell, as well as Joshua Banks. It's a freight train on the inside line, and Black's going to play it easy for now.
Yeah, maybe multiple grooves, but not this early in the race. It's going to be really slippery up there. No rubber to play with yet, and Black slides back on into 6th. And that's Jeremiah Vincent between those two teammates in 6th and 8th. Moving on back just a little bit, Butler 2nd in the points. Right now, if the race were to end as soon as it started, he would gain a bunch of points on Eli Hinton, who's all the way back in 18th place in that Grid Life Camry. And you see that's Gagnon and Clifton Cockrell and the 24 Bailey Turner fighting up at turn 4.
Yeah, meanwhile, speaking of Butler, he's in a battle with the 94 Corey Silva. Actually, Corey Silva's now duking it out with Austin Carpe.
And just in front of them, Jeremiah Vincent goes to the inside of Black. He'll take that spot away, slides up the racetrack in front of the 92, crossover from the 92, back to the bottom out of turn 4, and those two continue to fight for 6th place.
Yeah, I think he's trying to prevent the positions that he's lost here. He's going to slide just in front of the 8 of Jeremiah Vincent. Will clear him and hold on to 6th place. But up in the front, big battle for, I think, 2nd place. That is between, or sorry, 3rd place between Cabot, Campbell, and Banks.
Yeah, Gerald Campbell was mighty quick in practice, and I was surprised that he didn't qualify any better in qualifying, but already moving his way up into 3rd after starting back in 6th spot. So plus 3 spots in 6 laps, a good climb forward. As for Joshua Banks, started 8th up to 4th, so he's on his upward trend here early in the going.
Yeah, we've seen Banks be, as long as the internet holds, he's one of the fastest guys out there, slowly trying to move his way up from an 8th place starting spot.
Jeremy Miller in the 30's got some pretty significant right side and rear end damage here, Finian. Got to see what happened to the 30, but it was a pretty big hit, whatever it was, and we'll go back and try to find out what happened. There's a couple laps to go. Oh, here it is. This is, with points leader Eli Hinton. I believe this is out of turn 2. Yes, oh, he just got tight, bounced off the wall, and Hinton got, big damage to the 13, Finian. That's championship implications for our points leader.
Yeah, definitely not what Hinton wants, especially considering I imagine he started in the back to try to avoid getting into other drivers. So we'll see how that damage affects him tonight. So far, all right, although I imagine you would like to be a lot higher up the pecking order.
That's actually pretty significant damage, so you have to start worrying about the radiator in that car. Watch your temperatures. You don't want to throw your race away early, so if it's worth it to come fix it, you might as well come fix it. You're going to lose laps, but that might be better than losing the race, excuse me. As Jeremiah Vincent and Evan Black continue their fight, but that's brought Elliott Butler into the mix as well for 6th.
Yeah, Butler has been on the move. I think he's trying to. He knows that he has a shot at this championship. Should something happen to that 13, he's trying to take as much advantage as he can. You see Evan Black now go to the inside of the 8.
Great battle here for 6th place, and Vincent chops to the bottom of the racetrack. You see Butler working the high side. I think that outside groove is going to start working in relatively quickly. We didn't see it work the first lap, but it's certainly coming in now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much anywhere we go other than the road courses, obviously. That outside line is definitely the lane to be. Usually after a few laps, it depends on the track. And we definitely see him here, inside lane prevailing a lot more and a lot longer throughout the run.
Moving back a little ways, Bailey Turner, Eli Hinton fighting for 14th. It's been said that these two are not necessarily friends off the racetrack. I think they've had a lot of issues this year. But running 14th and 15th right now, Bailey Turner's car looking a lot better than that 13 at the moment, though. But for the top spot, I will say, Yusuf Ghali has been eating into the lead on Martin Sproul.
Yeah, he actually ran a 10th faster than the 19 car last lap through, so he's been closing in. He hasn't been letting that 19 out of sight, and I'm sure that one is going to want to redeem himself after what happened last week. I think he knows that he can do a lot better.
And speaking of last week, that was the Daytona road course, and I think pretty much all of our road course ringers had issues there, and the driver that prevailed was the 13 of Eli Hinton, locked himself up his 2nd win of the season. But Jeff Wright, Yusuf Ghali, Adam Cabot, all having issues on top of issues, and really let Hinton walk away with that one. Not a whole lot of competition up front for most of that race, and they're trying to rebound from that. Right behind, Vincent and Black still tight together, and Butler following that 92.
He's just been kind of running in behind Black. Not much of a change as of now. Looks like a lot of people kind of settled in for the long run here. Just kind of riding in line, waiting for the driver in front of them to make an error and then make a move.
Yeah, so again, this is I would call it a strategical racetrack. There's a lot you can do strategy-wise here. Tire wear is vastly different depending on if you're running the top or the bottom and how hard you attack this racetrack. Jeremy Miller in the 30, did he get in the wall again? He's slow on the back straight. William Troy to the inside.
It looks like he has some more damage to the right side of the car, particularly the front.
David Mott Jr. on the inside in that 41. Slow. He's going to let Casey Lakatos on by. How about Lakatos? Haven't really seen a lot of him in recent weeks. He had a really good string of finishes through the midseason. Of course, he's got SimTV on the side of that car, but recently hasn't quite had the pace, and he's looking to improve now, but still a long way to climb for that 50.
Yeah, I think we definitely seen him prevail more over the short game and with a lot of strategy moves. I think in recent weeks, haven't really seen a lot of that. A lot of green flag runs that has been playing into that 50 strengths.
Oh, the 83 of Gagnon way up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Almost got himself in the wall. And that's going to let on by the 87 of Troy. And potentially Licata. Oh, I see smoke, and it's Austin Carpe on the inside of the 9. Spun out, no caution. We stay green.
Yeah, amazing that wasn't a caution because there's actually quite a bit of smoke.
Ooh, yeah, he slipped big time. And just a lazy, oh, he didn't actually spin all the way around, that's why. Just a slow slide down to the bottom of the racetrack. Minimal damage, he'll continue, so well done there by the 9, but he'll come in for a pit stop pretty early in the race.
Yeah, I think he figured might as well, he's already slow, get some tires and try to get back in this thing.
Corey Silva started 7th, he drifted all the way back to 12th, and with Carpe's spin, there's a caution on the racetrack, and I think it's towards the rear, and Jeremy Miller in the 30 on the front straightaway, and this race has just gone from bad to worse for him.
Yeah, I think he's been struggling all race with this car, and I think this is nailing the coffin for him, at least for now.
Leader's right behind him, so he'll stay on the lead lap for the moment. Let's go back and see what happened. Looked like a multi-car incident. Here's a look. Oh, he just got loose in 3 and 4, and almost had it saved. The 41 got into the back of him and sent him around, so some pretty significant damage to the front of the 41 as well. So our first caution, lap number 18. I just don't think that 30 was confident in the handling of that race car.
Yeah, especially once you hit the wall quite a few times, and as much rear damage as you have, that handling definitely going to start to go away from you, and we saw it go just a little bit. He almost had it corrected, but with everyone so close in that scenario, it's hard to react in time.
Well, the whole field down pit lane except for one driver, Casey Lakatos, and he's going to steal a point for leading a lap, and we've seen that strategy all season long, and even this late, not going to change for the 50.
I mean, it's worked so far. Why change it, especially when you're 7th in the points, and one of the playoff drivers, unfortunately, is too far back, but still solid run this season for Lakatos.
The field on pit lane, everyone looks like they're in relatively smoothly. I think we might have saw one car miss a box.
Was Vincent had a backup in his box. I think he might lose a spot or two.
66 of Campbell pulls away. And a big gaggle of cars. Ashland's in the middle of it as they roll off. There's Butler as well, and Sprout loses a bunch of spots on pit lane here. Not a good pit stop sequence for that 19. And he's slow on the inside. Something wrong?
I think he might be having to let a lot of guys on by. Might have had a penalty.
He just came to a dead stop. Yeah, might have been a penalty for the 19. So all the way to the back of the pack after leading the first 18 tonight. Lakatos hits pit road, but Yusuf Ghali takes over the lead in that number 1. There's Carpe. He's going to get the wave around here in just a moment. Adam Cabot in 4th place. Again, this is another driver we haven't seen a whole lot of in the recent parts of the season, but just like Ghali, when he shows up, they're both really, really competitive. And glad to see that Lawn Tech 77 Camaro running so well here early in the going. The first caution of the night. It's 160 laps around this 1 mile speedway. And, this is a racetrack that I enjoy driving very much, and it's just fun to watch cars around here because they bounce and slide, and it's so much a driver's racetrack, and we're missing that, especially with this new package for 2019. It's just fun to watch cars go around here.
Yeah, it really is, and I think really where the package is better is at shorter tracks like this, although this is technically a mile in length. It pretty much drives like a short track, especially with the banking and how sharp these turns are. So I think this is really where this kind of package prevails. It gives these guys a lot of grip to work with so they can make a lot of moves, and we definitely saw some fantastic racing in this opening stint. 1
lap to green here for the field as we double file, re-rack them, restack them. The 1 drops to the bottom lane, and the 66 goes to the outside. And Gerald Campbell, how about this guy as well? Another late entry to the series, a new entry late in the season. He's been very impressive since he joined, just like the Martin Sproul, the 19, as well as Corey Silva and Evan Black, both of those drivers running inside the top 10 here early.
Yeah, Campbell only with 2 starts, 1 at New Hampshire, 1 at Vegas, and Vegas is where we really saw him shine with a 3rd place finish. Started in 3rd, finished in 3rd, so He's definitely continuing his trend of starting in the front. Let's see if he can finish in the front yet again.
All right, first restart of the night after 18 green flag laps. We're going to be working lap number 23 on the restart. Yusuf Ghali, Campbell, Banks, Cabot, Black, your top 5. Then it's Elliott Butler, Alex Bell, Jordan Ashton, Ronis, and Corey Silva rounding out your top 10. And field rolls off at turn 4. And Ghali's in control, and the green flag back in the air, racing again in Rockingham.
And a great start for the one, although it was a little slippy slidey as he got up to speed. Here comes Joshua Banks over the inside of 66 there, duking it out for second place.
And that's Banks on the inside, contact as they slide on the back straightaway, and wow, Banks scatters to the bottom of the racetrack, and Cabot tried to go middle 3 wide there for a minute, got into the back of the 66. That got a little tight.
Yeah, and some decent damage to the 36 of Banks, and he's a little bit slow for now, trying to get back up to speed. He's got Black to his outside.
They're going to stack up a lot of drivers behind him as well. Bailey Turner up to 10th. Where's points leader Eli Hinton? All the way back in 18th. I think he took the time to fix some of that race car, but has a lot of work to do up in front. Oh, another car in the wall. Is that the 15 of Alex Bell? Yes, it is. So SWA Motorsports both having issues on this restart. This was off of the bumper of Ronis as well. Here's the 15, a replay. And got the apron out of turn 2, slipped up, and tank slapped into the wall, and Ronis, nope, didn't hit him, but he scattered, and so did everyone behind.
Yeah, great battle going on between Black and Butler, fighting it out for 5th place.
And Black on the outside, and this is where he lost positions early. Looks like he's going to gain 1 there, so that outside lane coming in. Look at Eli Hinton following this mess out of turn 4.
Yeah, if you're Hinton, you know, you want to try to move up some spots, but it's a big group of cars, and anything can happen that can take you up, so you got to be careful here.
Clifton Cockrell on the outside lane in the 16. Martin Sproul trying to recover from that speeding penalty just in front of Eli Hinton. See, that's way up there, that orange car. That is Corey Silva. Some smoke from a slipping and sliding car up the road, but for the top spot, Finian getting close. Campbell right in the bumper of Yusuf Ghali.
Yeah, he's all over him. Campbell, I think, looking to be one of the fastest cars out here tonight. So, actually, he looks like he was the car, I think, that left smoke earlier. He's having some really bad internet issues right now.
Yeah, that's going to really hurt his potential to win this race. We've seen that take a lot of drivers. Ask Banks about that. Is a big gaggle off of turn 4. Hinton's leading it now. 14th place on back is a scatter.
I'm sure Hinton's glad to get out of this mess because they're going side by side by side back there.
Oh, slow off of turn 2 for Brandon Gagnon. Had to get out of the throttle. There goes the 9 of Carpe, who's still 1 lap down. Needs to get a free pass to get his lap back. Now Casey Lakatos, who played the strategy on the pit stop sequence. He's to the inside of Eddie Trejo. And the Camaro tonight couldn't get in the Mustang this evening.
Yeah, small error with that server side, but I'm sure he's probably not too happy with that, but we'll continue on nonetheless.
Checking back in with our leader, it's still Ghali out front, but only by a 10th, and right now that 66 is quicker.
66 is quicker, lets the internet stabilize, he's ready to go for it. He's got a great run off of 2, trying to get a run on this one car.
And it's just so tricky to make a pass on the bottom here once that outside groove starts to come in. So you see Ghali chasing his race car up the racetrack, trying to find a bit more speed and more momentum, but the 66 to the bottom, pass for the lead down into turn 1.
Here he comes, Ghali trying to pinch him down, but Campbell with a great run off the corner. There you see the inside line prevailing as Campbell's going to take the lead.
And Ghali had to lift for a second, and that's going to bring Cabot into the fight as well. So a 3-way battle for the lead, but Campbell wins it for now. But he's won the battle. Will he win the war out of turn 4? That 77 a little bit sideways.
Yeah, we've seen these guys been going at it for quite a bit of this race, and they're continued their fight now for the lead here. Oh, Campbell a little bit loose off of 2.
And that's going to bring Ghali right back to the rear bumper. Working lap number 33 of 160. Only 1 caution to slow the progress so far as Gerald Campbell goes to the top spot. He was quick in practice. We were just waiting for him to climb up the grid and get to the top spot here. Let's check in all the way back with Eli Hinton in 14th place. All over the back of Martin Sproul in 13th. And both these cars at the beginning of the race would have been capable of winning, but track position not in either of their advantages right now.
Yeah, definitely on the restart. Hinton was trying to get around Sproul, but couldn't get it done. But here they are coming up to Alex Bell as Sproul goes to his inside.
Yeah, Bell slipped big time out of turn 4, and that's going to let the 19 to the inside lane. And Hinton's going to try to follow the 19 through, and it looks like he will.
Yeah, another great battle brewing up ahead between the 29 and the 24. They're duking it out for 7th place.
And Bailey Turner started all the way back in 20th place, so he's up about 12 spots from where he started.
Yeah, he's moved up quite a few spots. I was just about to say that too. And as he goes to the inside of Ronis, though not making it easy.
And there's Jordan Ashland in the bright blue and teal, number 27, right behind him. And Jeremiah Vincent, remember he slipped into his pit box. Ooh, Turner on the inside of the apron out of turn 4. That was a bit of a bobble there for him for a second. That's going to let the 27 jump to the outside lane and probably pass him if he can carry the run.
Yeah, Ashton trying to get that run off turn. Whoa! Off of turn 2. It just cuts in to cut off Vincent, and here comes actually the 94 of Corey Silva.
Bit of an accordion effect there. Meanwhile, right behind Hinton goes for 13th. On the inside of Alex Bell. Looks like he'll complete that pass. Meanwhile, for 2nd place, it's Cabot putting pressure on Gali now.
Yeah, Gali's starting to fall into the 77's clutches here. We'll see if Cabot can get on by and then have a battle with Campbell.
It seems like everyone's kind of bottom feeding right now, but we have seen drivers make passes up high, and maybe later in the runs we'll see more of that. Meanwhile, you mentioned Corey Silva all over to Jeremiah Vincent. That battle's getting tight, but also the pole sitter Martin Sproul closing from 12th. Ooh, bit of a bobble out of turn 2 for the 19. Here goes Silva to the inside of Jeremiah Vincent. Took a look. Might have to be a bit closer to complete the pass, though. "39 laps complete." And green flag pit stops, that would be an interesting thing to deal with here. I don't think we've ever seen green flag stops at Rockingham before. And we've already done 19 laps since the green flag, and fuel run is much longer than that, but you got to start thinking about it, and you might have to run this race backwards like a road course race. Meanwhile, Bailey Turner up the road to the inside of Ronis for 7th.
Yeah, and actually you're talking about green flag pit stops. Guys can go about 60 laps on a tank of gas, or about 1/3 of the way through the fuel run already. So yeah, you definitely have to start thinking about it and planning out when you're going to make your stops.
This battle for 7th is heating up, and for 2nd as well. Cabot to the inside of Gali down in turn 1, and Joshua Banks following from behind, maybe just hoping these two get together, slow each other down. Whoa! Cabot, a big drift out of turn 2.
Yeah, that was an amazing save there. That car was completely sideways and pretty much corrected it like it was nothing.
There's a look. Wow, it was a big slide, very quick. Snapped back to the right, managed to hang on to it. Behind for 7th, Ronis and Turner continue to battle.
Yeah, I'm sure Turner is getting a little bit fed up with this 29. He's been constantly to the inside, but Ronis just taking that top line away. And you can see off of 2 all the run that he gets, and Turner can do nothing.
Martin Sproul and Jeremiah Vincent right behind these guys. They got really tight together out of turn 2. And the 94, Corey Silva, was just watching the entire time. We'll run on board the gyro cam here. Whoa, big bobble for the 94. Now he's side by side with Vincent on the front straight.
Curious what Sproul is going to do once he catches up to the 29 on Ronis. Considering Ronis has been taking that high line away and no one has been able to pass him since the restart.
For the top spot, Yusuf Gali right on the rear bumper of Gerald Campbell. That's brought Cabot back as well. So we were watching that battle for 7th. The battle for the lead is heated up again, too. And Campbell looks like he's dropped off the pace a little bit since he got this lead away.
Might have used up the good in his tires too early, and I think Gali trying to take advantage of it. I see the 66 slipping off the corner a little bit. Here comes Gali to the inside.
Trading back for the lead, the 1 shoves that nose to the inside lane, trying to bring Cabot through as well, but the outside is the great place to defend. And looks like he'll just re-clear the 1 before they enter turn 3.
Yep, things will sort themselves back out yet again for the leaders.
Gali is just getting such a good run out of turn 4 and carrying the momentum all down the front straightaway, but Campbell again struggling to keep that internet in sight as well. Meanwhile, for 7th, look at Ronis still holding off Bailey Turner. This is patience that Turner's not going to have for too much longer.
Yeah, I mean, Turner's been going at it. You might have him here. Here he comes.
No, not quite. Nope, not quite. And Turner had to scramble to avoid getting turned into the wall. And here comes Jordan Ashland to the inside, 3 wide down into turn 3.
And Ashland's going to back out of it, couldn't make it stick, and the order remains, this time with Turner, some rear damage to the back end of his car.
Wow, big cluster out of turn 4 as everyone scatters to miss that incident. Yusuf Ghali's taking the lead away while this is all happening. Meanwhile, there's just cars on top of cars on top of cars through turns 1 and 2. And wow, Jeremiah Vincent, there he goes into the wall in the back straight, caution out, and your points leader in the fence as well. And this is exactly what Hinton didn't need, especially with Butler running 5th. A big crash, and that might be terminal for the 13 Finian. Wow. Championship implications on a crash on lap number 48. And it all started back with the 29 and the 24 a few laps prior when they stacked up this whole group, and they just were like this for about a lap and a half, and here's the incident out of turn 2. Ooh, was there contact from the 13? There might have been.
Yeah, it was a little bit, just a little bit of a nudge between the 13 and the 8. And I think the 13 expected the 8 to get on the gas a little bit earlier. He went to the outside to try to get around the 8 because he realized he started to spin. Vincent corrected into the outside, and both of them went flying up the wall.
Yeah, just the slightest of touches there, and yeah, big hit for the 8, and just as much for the 13 into the fence. And yeah, that was definitely on the 13 there, Finian, but I mean, that's not what you need to be doing. And this all goes back to him not qualifying either. How about the 50 at Lakatos as well? Watch his view of this. And he just slammed on the brakes, got it sideways, locked up the tires, and came to a stop. And there was actually more crashing up the road with Alex Bell involved as well. Or was it Alex Bell? It was the 94 of Corey Silva is what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a look at this. This is a whole separate incident, I believe. But
Bailey Turner was also involved.
So there was more drama than what we were watching. There was really 2 crashes happening in one. Did this start with the 29? Oh, the 29 turned across the 83, and Silva jumped on the brakes to miss it. Oh, that was a dramatic moment there for Turner as well. He just turned in like the 83 wasn't there and just chopped across the nose and kind of wrecked himself.
Well, you know, I think what happened there actually is, looking at it, I think the caution might have came out, considering the wreck is happening behind them. And when the caution comes out, your spotter turns off. So
yeah,
you don't hear any more calls.
Yeah, he just turned down across the 83, and Jordan Ashton got a piece of it as well, as did the 94. So damage to a lot of race cars in this lap number 48 incident. And Brandon Gagnon actually got one of the least amounts of damage in that wreck, and so he'll stay out, try to get a wave around here. Evan Black up to 5th. Looks like we have had pit stops. Yes, we have, so that the order is already set. The 94 is Silva still in pit lane. Damage on that car, but I think he's going to try to get rolling here again shortly.
I think the one guy who's going to have a bit of a smirk on his face is Elliott Butler. I mean, he's sitting 28 points back in the championship. He's running pretty well, running around just outside the top 5 position, although it looks like he's dropped further back due to pit stops. But he's still got a pretty decent car, considering his main competition's all the way out of this race pretty much, with severe damage. He might have a really good shot at getting back in this championship race.
Yeah, Hinton has rejoined the racetrack, but that car not in great shape.
Yeah, they actually got the nose back on that car, surprisingly. Yeah. So
Corey Silva, his car doesn't look that damaged, but he has not rejoined the racetrack, so that might be it for the 94. All right, well, a dramatic moment, lap 48. We're going to re-rack him, restack him, try it again. So our second caution in 50 laps here to start the night. And kind of 2 separate incidents, claiming a bunch of drivers in that one.
Yeah, actually, Corey Silva's just left the server. He's going to call it night for this race. So unfortunately, going to be a retirement for the 94.
Yeah, damage didn't really look all that bad, but maybe there was some engine damage that we didn't see. Dropping oil or something. So a short night for the 94 in his first race of the season. Lap number 50 will be the lap that he pulls off. About 109 laps to go on the restart. Golly, Cabot, Campbell, Banks, Evan Black, your top 5.
Doing a scary restart as everyone gets back under green. Some wheel spin that we saw from Campbell, and he's under attack now from Evan Black and Adam Cabot. Oh, Adam Cabot
no!
onto the wall.
Huge
Whoa,
impact out of turn 2. Wow! A vicious impact, and Gagnon and Lakatos and more stacked up out of turn 2. And a big pile of race cars, a junkyard on the restart. What happened there?
I honestly couldn't tell because he was actually lagging out during part of that incident.
Wow, huge.
Oh,
wreck
what on
the restart.
earth? Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, I think I might know what have happened to him.
Well, this is difficult because he was lagged out for a second, but...
Yeah, I think I did, because when he came back for about a few frames, he's driving perfectly fine. Then it looks like someone turned him in the right rear, which I can imagine is the worst netcode I've ever seen. And then he gets hooked into the wall.
Wow. And then this stacks up everybody behind. Gagnon tried to miss it. Bruce Boyer, Lakatos, Jeremiah Vincent, Bailey Turner, Eli Hinton again, all coming to a stop on the back straight. A huge mess once again.
Wow, that is... I cannot believe.
Everyone trying to miss this. The 50 gets turned and everyone just slides to a stop. And Eli Hinton did a spectacular job coming to get completely stopped to not make that damage worse. And I think Ronas also in the 29 got a big piece of that. Oh, he might have been able to lag through him, thankfully. But a big mess out of turn 2.
Yeah, it looks like everyone was able to get unscathed, except for the guys in the back of the pack.
Yeah, Gagnon got a pretty good piece of that. The worst of it, though, for the 77, that'll be the end of his night after a strong run early. So something really strange happened there.
Yeah, that is the worst netcode I've ever seen. He got looking at the damage, he got damaged just in his right rear and just got hooked into the wall.
All right, so third caution of the night. And that was a weird one for sure. But Yusuf Ghali continues to lead with Gerald Campbell up front. How about Evan Black in third, his first race in the series?
Yeah, and he started to keep the order, and that's also one less competitor for Joshua Banks, too. We saw all these guys in the front, the entire, what was top 5 up until that point, they all had a really good shot. So unfortunately, it's going to take Cabot out of the equation after a bizarre wreck. That's going to leave us with Ghali, Campbell, Black, and Banks, who are the guys, really, I think, any one of them can win this race at this point.
Your points leader back on pit lane again, and this has really not been the night for the 13. So, again, he was, what, 20-something points ahead of the 6?
28.
28 points ahead. So as they run, that's a 14-point gain.
Yeah, he's going to... No, that's actually, it's a lot more than that.
Oh, is it more than that?
Yeah, because remember, Outsiders run a different point system compared to usual. They're staggered point. You get different points once you're in 6 or something. You get twice. You get 2 points instead of 1 increments. So, doing my math, it looks like if Butler were to win this race, which I don't think he is, but if he finishes around 5th, he's going to gain about 20 points on Eli Hinton, who finishes back at 20.
And that puts him easily within winning range of the championship next week, or 2 weeks from now, rather, at season's end. So, wow. Well, that changes things. Now, Eli Hinton is not going to drop out of this race, and he's still running. The problem is he's towards the back where the incidents have been mostly happening, and there's still potential for that race to go even farther south. And will that engine even make it to the end of the race with all that damage? We have yet to see. So for the 13, he's still in trouble, not out of the woods yet. But Butler smiling right now. His race has been very clean, very tidy so far, only running 6th, but certainly a lot better than the driver he's chasing in the points.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, though, he can't be resting on his laurels. He has to perform, because whatever happens here, if he can get as much points as possible, that could help him next week in the finale at Atlanta.
Field rolling out of turn 4. We'll try this again. It'll be our 3rd restart of the night, as the pace car is going to pull off. Yusuf Ghali, Campbell, Black, Banks, Ronas, your top 5.
Yep, great restart for the leaders as they race up into turn 1. Campbell and Black going at it. Black, this is the highest we've seen him tonight, as he's going to clear Campbell off of 2. No, he's not Campbell. Here comes Campbell on the outside.
Oh, out of turn 2. That was really close for the 66. Almost got into the safer barrier. And for the, Evan Black blocks to the bottom. Here comes Banks taking a look to the inside.
Yeah, Banks threw a nose in there, very late move. Banks is going to get around him, and now Black is still trying to fight on the outside. Campbell
slips to 4th. Ronas and Butler fighting for 5th place behind him. As Black's still trying to be tenacious on the outside lane, and he's still there for the moment, but I think Banks will have him down here in turn 3.
Whoa! Campbell with an aggressive move off the nose of the 92. I'm amazed he didn't get hooked into the wall there, but that 66 will clear the 92 for third.
Also, another driver we haven't talked about in a little bit of time is Martin Sproul, who our pole sitter. He's managed to negotiate his way through all those accidents. He's back inside the top 10, looking for a top 5 spot on the back of Ronis, as Ronis goes way up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4, sparking on the low tire pressures. Here comes the 19 to the inside.
Yeah, here comes Sproul with a huge head of steam. We'll see how Ronis is going to deal with them. I've been interested in seeing this. Ronis really got to run that high side, although I don't think it's come in just yet.
Sproul escapes to the bottom to get out of the way of the side draft for a moment, then tucks back in down into turn 3, right on that yellow line. Ronis up the racetrack a little higher, using the momentum, but the 19 slips up the racetrack and will take that 5th spot away. Back in the pack just a little bit is Bailey Turner, Alex Bell. These two were involved in that last incident on lap number 48, trying to recover. Elliott Butler to the inside of Ronis, just up the road as well.
Yeah, this is Butler trying to get 6th place away from Ronis.
Keeping an eye on the 2nd place battle, Gerald Campbell on Joshua Banks. And we were talking about netcode being a problem. Well, these two, probably not a great combination to have near each other.
Ooh, Campbell getting loose off of turn 4. He's lost a little bit of time. 2:36 is now within reach of Evan Black.
Evan Black's been very consistent tonight, running inside the top 10 for most of the evening. Now he's inside the top 5 and closing on the 66 and 36. But, I mean, is it still time to be patient? I know we have less than 100 laps to go, and it's about 37 minutes of racing if it were to go green, but save your tires maybe here, Finian, if you're the 92?
Oh, definitely I would. I would expect this run to go pretty green. A lot of cars have damage, and we've been pretty close to getting a long run, so definitely want to save your stuff. We saw Campbell on the longest green flag run. We saw him starting to fall off the pace towards the end just before the caution came out, so don't burn up your stuff just yet.
Butler back to the bottom in turn 3, trying to get around Ronis. And Ronis has been relentless on that outside lane. He's just been ripping the outside line and carrying the momentum and just being very difficult to pass all evening.
Yeah, I'm sure Butler is feeling what Bailey Turner was struggling with earlier. You see Butler clip the apron. He's going to lose some time. And here comes Chambliss now trying to make a move.
Yeah, I haven't talked about Brian Chambliss all night long in that 21. Rocking the inside lane, not a scratch on that car yet, and now inside the top 10, looking for 8th. Actually 7th, rather, on the 6th of Elliott Butler. But if you take a look at the ticker, Finian, the top 5, there's no golds. The first chase driver is Angel Ronis back in 6th, Butler in 7th, and then there's no more chase drivers until Bailey Turner all the way back in 12th, who right now is in the middle of a gaggle with Alex Bell and also Eli Hinton, who's a lap down.
Yeah, I'm surprised Turner is running as high as he is. He's missing the entire rear end of that car. Again, I guess you can argue probably the least important part of the car is that rear bumper, so he'll march on forward trying to gain what he's lost.
Ronis and Butler, they're not done yet. Again, Ronis has just been rolling it outside lane, carrying the momentum. But it seems to me, Finian, that the outside is typically where you wear out your tires more here. It seems like the inside's where the car naturally wants to go. You go outside of it, I feel like you wear your tires out a bit more.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right with that. And I mean, at most places like a mile and a half, I think the outside, that's more the more conservative line. But considering how tight this corner is, you're going to be making the tires work more, trying to take a longer way around.
Still side by side, Butler had the nose ahead in turn 3, but the run off the corner for the 29 almost good enough to clear the 6 down into turn 1, but couldn't do it. Butler, I think, might prevail if he continues at this. But again, look at the run the 29 gets off turn 2.
I'm sure the drivers at this point want to ban Ronis from using the outside lane because I haven't seen anyone I've seen almost no one get by him except Martin Sproul.
We said this racetrack was multi-groove. The first couple laps, it didn't look like that was going to be the case. But it's certainly come in now, working lap 70, almost to halfway in this race. And look at the 6, dives way deep into turn 1, trying to clear the 29. And did it that time, slides up in front out of turn 2, but Ronis back to the outside again.
Wow, they were almost into each other. They're off the corner, and here comes Ronis. I think Butler's going to clear him now this time, finally getting on through. Now Brian Chambliss is going to have fun with Ronis.
It's like the Ryan Newman tonight in that 29 machine.
Up in the front, though, battle heating up for second between Campbell and Banks. They're closing in on each other.
Campbell's been so impressive this season, and really probably quick enough to win this race, but hasn't had the consistency of a driver like Yusuf Ghali.
Right behind them, Martin Sproul is just going to the inside of Evan Black. They're fighting it out for fourth. And how about Martin Sproul? Got a pit road speeding penalty, went all the way to the back of the pack. Here he is driving himself back into the front. He's now a contender back in this race.
I wish I had one of those cool little graphics to show his progress so far, because it would have dropped off down to 24th or 25th earlier in the night. And now he's back into fourth as he bobbles out of turn 4, and Black's going to get back clear for that fourth spot. Sproul tried it again on the inside of turn 2 and couldn't do it. I think he's quicker, but gotta get there and make a pass. Had 25 laps since the last time these drivers came to pit road. Remember, you said the pit window is about 60 laps. So we could pretty much go on one more stop, Finney. And do you think lap 100, 105 is probably when you're going to see the stops next?
Yeah, I think just around there. So I think that'll probably be the perfect time for these guys to come in, trying to, even out these runs just a little bit.
Down into turn 1. I see the 83 of Brandon Gagnon back in 20th place. And he was fighting with Jeremiah Vincent on the racetrack, but they're separated by kind of a lot in terms of the real estate out there. There's Eli Hinton in the 13, trying to get back by Alex Bell, but Eli's not battling cars on his own lap right now.
Yeah, I think he's trying to fight his distance. I think he's trying to make sure that he can stay ahead as many cars as he can, because he's the first car a lap down. I think he's trying to make sure he doesn't fall another one.
Checking back in with the Ronis and Chambliss fight. Chambliss was still on the bottom, as he was about 5-6 laps ago.
So 3 drivers have tried to get around Ronis. Only one have been successful by my count so far.
I'm sure they wish they could change that as we work the inside of the 29, lap number 77. And it's just like chipping away. It's like chiseling. You get a bit of material one time around and you try again, and almost a bit of contact off into turn 3.
Yeah, they ignore each other just a little bit entering turn 3. Here comes Chambliss on the gas, trying to get clear that 29, almost.
Not quite. Got to try again. And Ronis is not giving these spots up easy, fighting for everything it's worth. And frankly, lead lap cars, by all means, fight him. And Ronis is doing a great job. I think the 21's going to get him this time, and he does. Whoa, Butler up the road, way to the inside. Swerved on down to the yellow line. Not sure what that was all about. But Ronis has dropped to the inside out of turn 4 now.
Yeah, Ronis trying to do the switchback on the 21 to no success. And now here comes Cockrell. He's next in line. Have fun with Ronis.
And it's amazing that the 29's left side and rear bumper are not completely mangled yet.
Ooh, battle for second. These guys are about to have their bumpers mangled as they're going side by side. Banks and Campbell.
Banks pretty much just took the top layer of paint off the turn 4 safer barrier there. I think you couldn't get any closer than that. And into turn 1, ooh, that was close.
Yeah, that was very close. Banks is going to just keep ahead of the 66.
All right, guys, we're only halfway. Got half the race left. Let's not tear each other up yet.
I think both of them know the leader's up ahead. They don't want to lose sight of him. They want to be the one that's chasing him down.
Ronis and Cockrell, how about this? They got the 83 of Gagnon, who is a couple laps down, but they're just getting themselves by at the moment. But it's Yusuf Ghali out front by 1.3 seconds. How about this one car putting on a show today?
Whoa, Cockrell sideways, Bailey Turner sideways, off of turn 2, caution
and a
down.
spin, and the 13 again. And more wall contact for that 13. And
and actually the 13 got help.
Let's see. Well, let's see what started this. It was the 24, I believe, right? It was one of the cars, and it was Cockrell as well. Oh, Cockrell was kind of sandwiched here by the 83. They made contact. The 24 got into it. And then the 13 got helped around by the 8. Interesting. I don't think Jeremiah Vincent had any reason to slow down extra fast, huh?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious if it's that or if he actually legitimately didn't realize that Eli was checking up. Was really close there. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know, and the thing is that has pretty big implications because Eli Hinton was supposed to be the free pass recipient, and if you don't know how iRacing works, if you get an incident point at the moment of caution, you will, and you're the free pass recipient, they'll go to the next car in line. So Eli Hinton should not be receiving it.
Yeah, and Hinton's car is bruised and battered on every single corner. I'd be amazed if that thing's even driving straight right now.
Nope, and Bruce Boyer is going to get the free pass. That's going to sting for the 13.
Man, so more incidents here. Alex Bell stays out. We did have a bunch of cars hit pit road, though, and we'll see how this all cycles out. But it's been a dramatic race. Our 4th caution of the night, working lap 82.
Yeah, so Eli Hinton's going to have to suffer, and he actually, his car actually seems pretty decent on the pace. He was running about the, if he was on the lead lap, it would have been about 13th, 12th. But his Meyer back all the way just due to being a lap down. We'll see actually if he might stay out here just trying to get the lap back.
I can't imagine you'd want to stay out. That car is so destroyed. I have to imagine that steering wheel's all kinked sideways. He hit that wall with the left front tire, and it looks like it's cambered out all wrong. On the pit lane he comes. Alex Bell as well, so Yusuf Ghali's going to take the lead back over Banks, Elliott, Butler. So Butler will cycle out to be 3rd in this. This is going exactly how the 6 car wanted.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So this is all the cards that were previously in Eli Hinton's hands, they've gone over to that 6, and as long as he can seal the deal, I think if Butler can finish in around the top 5, and if Eli finishes outside 10th, I think we're looking at a pretty solid championship fight going to the final race next week.
And the 6 car has not, blown the doors off anybody this year. He has not really been a race-winning, contending driver every single week, but he's just going to average finish you to death. I mean, every single week, he is not inside the top 3, and he's not outside the top 10. He's just quietly getting 5th, 7th, 6th, 8th, and that counts for something at the end of a season like this. And he's put himself in championship position just by doing that and that alone, and honestly, that's paying off for him here late in the going.
Yeah, you know how I'm sure is kicking themselves at home. I think Jeff Wright's kicking himself what happened to the 13. I think he definitely would have capitalized. No matter what, I think it would have been him and Butler fighting it out. And we've seen Wright definitely got pace. So unfortunately, those internet issues going to keep that 48 out of a really close fight that otherwise would have been. But the 6, I'm sure happy because he can now collect all the points.
So one man's trash is another man's treasure, I guess, that even applies in racing. And lap 85, we're going to get the 1 to green from the pace car.
Yeah, and how about this, too? Elliott Butler, actually, I'll start with Hinton and Wright. Hinton, 2 wins to his name this season. Wright, 3 wins to his name this season. Even Alex Bell, who's currently in 4th, 2 wins to his name. Butler, 0 wins this season so far, and he's looking like he might be a championship favorite going into next week.
I told you he'd average finish you to death. And he has been doing that all season long. So re-racked, restacked, and we're down to 16 cars on the lead lap of the 24 that started the race. So it's been not necessarily a high attrition race, but the accidents that have happened have certainly damaged a lot of race cars and put them laps down. We have, Evan Black retired in the 92.
Yeah, I saw that, and I wasn't entirely sure why that happened, but the pace car is about to duck in here.
So it looks like he retired under this yellow flag sequence. Pace car is off. And green flag back in the air. Chambliss slow through 1 and 2, and Ronis dives to the inside to try to take advantage of it.
Yeah, Ronis is going to take that spot. Chambliss is going to settle in behind the 21, I am sure to his dismay, as everyone races on in the front. Ghali's starting to break away from 2nd and 3rd. Banks and Campbell are going to resume right where they left off.
41 and David Mott pounded the wall out of turn 2. Big damage to the side of that 41, but he kept it straight, will stay green. As Banks and Campbell trade spots for 2nd place again.
Yeah, here comes the 6, Elliott Butler. He's been quiet for the most part this night. Here he comes. Now we're trying to fight it up with the top dogs. He's trying to take 3rd away from Joshua Banks.
Sparks flying from the low tire pressures. The car's low to the ground, squishing those sidewalls down into the pavement through the high load corners here at Rockingham. And Butler trying to take advantage of the grip on the restart here. Behind him, it's Martin Sproul, Ronis, Brian Chambliss, Eddie Trejo inside the top 10 here right now as well, and his number 11 Camaro. And Chambliss back to the bottom of Ronis. This is like walking into a trap. You know what the 29 is going to do here.
Actually, I think the 29 might have a good shot here. It's really early on in the run. He caught him later. So 29 has a much better chance this time by going around the 29, but we'll see.
Oh, the 21 got loose off into the corner. Behind, there was a big fight for a moment off into the turn with, I believe there was Eli Hinton in the middle of it, but I think they've kind of distributed it back out again. We'll jump back up to the Ronis and Shambles fight down into turn 1.
Ooh, you might want to check up at the leaders. Campbell's caught up to Yusuf Ghali. They're going at it for first.
Campbell has been quick. I just don't know if he's consistent enough to win this race tonight, but he's certainly there.
Yeah, definitely seen him have the raw pace, and on a short run, I think that 66 is going to have it, but there he comes now to the inside. Ghali taking the upper line to defend.
Still can't go to the end on fuel from here, so there will be one more pit stop in this race as they battle for the lead, and Campbell going to take the short way around on the inside, clips the apron off into turn 3. Ghali might give this one up, and he does for now.
Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty smart move. Let the guy in front of you burn his stuff up and come back to take it, or take it back immediately, I thought, as Ghali was right all over that back bumper, but he's going to settle in for second here.
Interesting, the battle for the lead lap, or the free pass rather, is 17th and 18th place, Austin Carpe and Eli Hinton. Carpe has better track position than the 13. He's got a couple more cars between him. So even if caution comes out again, Hinton will still be trapped a lap down.
Yeah, and also that car is looking, that 9 car looking in a much better shape than the 13. That 13 car is beat up on all sides.
To be frank, it's not really a high bar to clear to be better looking than the 13. Well, the top spot still relatively close, only a 10th between them. What do you think about a SimTV crank it up here, Finian?
Yeah, that sounds amazing here, especially with everyone so close.
Sound surge, here we go. Saw the 9 of Austin Carpe bounce off the wall at the exit of turn 2. He'll continue, but with some more right side damage. Eli Hinton trying to close in, but it's a bunch of lead lap cars in between him. Bruce Boyer on the outside trying to get around Jeremy Miller and Casey Lakatos. A big fight for what will be 12.
Yeah, these guys starting to go at it. How about Miller? We saw he was in really bad shape early on in the race. He's kind of rebounded back and now trying to get himself inside the top 10.
All that time we're under the sound surge. That lead didn't really grow a whole lot for Campbell. Still 0.2 of a second. I think Ghali's really just letting him foolishly burn his tires off, and he's just sitting and waiting for that 66 to come right back to him. How about Martin Sproul? We talked about his pit road penalty early in the going, speeding on the pit lane. And he hasn't been able to fully recover, but he's back inside the top 5 and certainly within striking distance here. Interesting note about lap 100 here, Finian. Your fuel window now opens. Does anybody short pit this and just try to go all the way to the end on fuel?
I think it's a little bit too early. Only been 15 laps under this run. I think guys are going to wait maybe another 15 or so, then might be thinking about coming down to the pits.
Miller and Boyer side by side off of turn 4. And Miller had a really poor start to the night. He's actually been able to recover mostly and fix a lot of that damage he had on that car. So he's got that pointed in the right direction. Still not necessarily one of the best nights of the season for him, but got that car at least a little bit less damage than it was in the first about 20 or 30 laps of the race. Austin Carpe in the 9 machine in 17th. He's 1.5 seconds up the road from Eli Hinton, your points leader, who's trapped in 18th. He's only the second to last car still running on the racetrack for that 13, so it really has not been a good night for Eli. Coming off of a win last week at the road course at Daytona, really didn't need a night to go this sour and bring that 6 car close into the final race of the season in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate too, as we got a battle heating up behind Joshua Banks between Sproul and Butler. That's starting to heat up. But yeah, Eli Hinton really didn't need that, especially after last week winning the race. The sky was a limit for him, and unfortunately, I think he's reached that limit here, as now Butler is under attack by Sproul, but is having a great race so far.
Sproul to the inside and just trying to recover what was his at the beginning of the race. Started on pole at the first stint, and then on the first pit stop gave it up, and he's been trying to claw back from it ever since.
Yeah, and that's entirely recovered too. That just kind of shows you how much those penalties going to affect you. He's definitely regained quite a few spots and more or less at the top of the field, but was leading this race at one point. I'm sure he definitely wants that lead back.
Oh, in the fence was the 19 out of turn 2. Just a slight scrape, but looks like Butler wanted the spot back for a moment. Let's jump on back to 10th place William Troy in the 87 and Alex Bell in the 15. It's been a relatively successful season for Alex Bell. A couple wins to his name as he gets really loose out of turn 4, but just hasn't had the consistency.
That was perfect timing right there for that. But yeah, I think pretty much as you said, and I think the same thing goes with the 36 as well. You can kind of point fingers at his internet for that, the consistency part of it. But yeah, I think that's what these guys might try to work with, the SWA guys, or we can try to work with over the off season. Come back into next season strong, because we definitely know really strong cars. They had a really good spread of races in the middle of the season. I'm sure they're going to try to do that next season for all the races.
So continuing to race lap number 107 of 160, and Joshua Banks is under attack from Martin Sproul now in that 19, and the 19's going to cross under him on the front straight off into turn 1.
Sproul, I mean, honestly, great pace. He's making it look easy here as he just clears a 36 in turn 1. No hassle for the 19.
And again, this is only his 3rd race with the series, and he just comes in here and just basically uproots what we thought should have been the top 5 every single week. And you know, the first week at Gateway, it didn't really start great for him. He started at the rear and was kind of lingering in the rear, but by the end of the race was up inside the top 10, top 5. Had a great run there, had a great run at Daytona last week, and he's just a really talented racer, and now sitting in a podium spot here with about 50 laps to go.
Ooh, right behind them, Butler going for a dive to the inside of Banks, and it looks like Banks is just going to let him on by.
Yeah, Banks struggling a little bit with his race car, doesn't have the turn in it that he needs. Butler, it seems like he's much more tuned into the racetrack and race car right now, goes to the high side to defend the recovery move by Joshua Banks. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, but real quick, back on to Martin Sproul. I mean, people have haven't trying to figure out how to phrase this. People have realized his talent in that 19 car. He's going to be racing with Boss Motorsports, a new team formed by David Mott Jr. So it's pretty much immediately picked up after joining the series, and I think that's just a sign of what's to come for this 19 car. Yeah, I mean, when you run 2 races and you get signed on a team for the next season, that's how you know you've made a splash in the series. And it's only been a short run, and he hasn't been in victory lane yet, but he will be, and he will be shortly. Banks hits pit lane here, Finian, presumably final stop of the night. Yeah, and this is definitely within the window. I expect a lot of guys to come in over the next 10 laps or so. That's where we're going to start seeing more and more pit stops make way, and that 36 is going to lead the charge onto pit road. Not too surprised, because it looked like he started to struggle on these cars.
Maybe try the undercut, see how that works for you. Meanwhile, Alex Bell getting passed by Austin Carpe, who's still the car in the lead lap position, or the free pass position rather. Eli Hinton, 2.5 seconds back off the pace. Doesn't seem like he can get up to that 9 car, so he's really in trouble, and if he gets stuck down the lap, the best he can finish as it runs is about 15th or 16th place. Yusuf Ghali hits pit lane here from 2nd place.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of the leaders starting to follow that 36 in. They don't want to be caught out on the strategy, especially because passing, while not impossible, is definitely a lot harder than one would think, so you definitely don't want to get put way too far back behind the guys you're racing with.
Lap 114 of 160. We've had 4 cautions tonight, 7 lead changes. It's been a remarkably competitive race all over the racetrack, whether it be at the front, in the middle, or at the rear of the field. Dolly rolling back out on the racetrack. Where and when does Gerald Campbell come in? When and where does Martin Sproul come in? Because Finini's only a second back from Campbell. I think that 19, as you said at the beginning of the night, I think that 19 is the one to beat if it goes green all the way to the end.
Yeah, really curious on when these two are going to decide to come down on pit road. And for now, it looks like they're going to continue on. I wouldn't be... don't mind the 19 staying out. I think definitely he's got the pace on these older tires to make up later on.
Just watching a quick replay of the 6 car out of turn 4, a big slip and slide. Wow, that was a scary moment inside that race car. Cottis up inside the top 10, of course. We had some people that have hit pit lane, so this is not exactly where he was running, but still a decent night for the 50. Has avoided a bunch of incidents and only has a little bit of damage to the rear of that car. Everywhere else looks pretty clean.
Martin Sproul down on pit road to make his presumably final stop of the night.
Yeah, this is the car I'm watching for the next 43 laps or so, is this 19.
Yeah, I mean, if he does, again, what a comeback. Drove completely through the field. Wasn't really a whole lot of strategy, just raw pace out of this 19, passing everyone in the field, getting himself to the top. We'll see where he's going to come out. Definitely that 36 and the 1 are going to pass him. It's just a matter of what's the gap going to be.
Gerald Campbell from the lead on the pit lane. Butler stays out, and you know what he's praying for, Finney, and he's praying for that bright yellow flag. But he's coming to pit lane. Here he comes.
Yeah, actually, I think he might have just stayed out just to get that bonus point here. He'll come down on pit road.
Every point counts in the championship fight. And with what he's gained on Eli Hinton so far and what he has left to gain, this is a smart strategy. Just get every single point you can. So Butler hits pit lane. Where's the 1 car of Dolly? Because that's who I'm watching when the 19 rehits the racetrack. And here comes the 19. Oh, he's already been out on the track and trying to chase down that 1. About a 3-second gap up to the 1 car.
Yeah, actually they came out. Banks was ahead of the 1, but Dolly was able to get around Banks, so now that's potentially the fight for the lead, once everyone cycles out.
So it'll be about 40 laps to go next time by. It's only about 16 minutes worth of racing. And the question is Martin Sproul running quicker than Dolly? And yes, he is. He's driving the wheels off. He saw him real sorts of sideways out of turn 2, wheeling that car and trying to catch those guys up front.
He's got about 40 laps to reel in that gap. Definitely doable, especially I would say he's probably the best guy on the track at the moment to do that. So keep an eye on this 19 as he makes his charge to the front.
Now, one of the latest pitting drivers of the top 5.
Oh, Jared Campbell on the wall on the front straightaway. Caution's out.
The 66, who was the leader before that sequence, and Bailey Turner is smiling inside that 24.
Wow, how about that?
What happened here? Oh, he just got loose. This is an overcorrection. Big impact into the outside wall for the 66. That'll be retirement. Now, Eli Hinton is trapped 2 laps down, Finian. However, he is going to gain another spot there because the 66 will retire. So that's another point for the 13. This shook a lot of things up, though.
Yeah, actually, Hinton should be able to get one of those laps back as he actually just came into the pits right as the wreck happened. So here come the leaders down onto pit road. Bailey Turner will lead them down.
So this is going to mean that a lot of those drivers are going to get the wave around here. But for Turner, that's a great turn of events. Angelo Ronis as well, Eddie Trejo, William Troy, Alex Bell, Lakatos, all with a stroke of luck there to get that caution. And by Campbell, such a great race until that one little mistake overcorrected. And we talked about this last week or a couple weeks ago with 3-wide drivers, Fane, is that when you get sideways, sometimes it's just better to accept you're going to spin and lock down the tires instead of trying to save it, because he overcorrected and went straight into the concrete wall out of turn 4.
Yeah, pretty much as you were saying earlier, saving a car and wrecking a car, pretty much an art form, very understated art form. But yeah, Derek Campbell going to meet the wall. Pretty much the end of his race.
Trejo won the race off pit road. Finney is going to beat Bailey Turner and others. Oh, did he get a penalty?
He got a penalty.
Oh, no. That just sucks.
Oh, yeah, he definitely got, I think, coming out of his pit stop, went up to 46, I think, miles an hour. Was trying to play games with the timing lines. Unfortunately, wasn't able to give up enough time for it to discount. But yeah, so 11's going to drop to the back of the back, which is unfortunate because he easily could have been up in third or fourth.
Yeah, Gateway winner from the Virtual Racing League a few weeks ago, and had his performance turned around in that series, and had an opportunity to restart on the front row for this restart, and threw it all out over a couple miles an hour. And meanwhile, the drivers that we've seen up front most of the race going to start mid-pack. Martin Sproul going to be 10th for this restart.
Interestingly enough, Joshua Banks just came down on pit road.
And he's currently scored a lap down as well.
Yeah, I don't know why he came in, because he was set to take the wave around, but that's... Oh, is he... He's sitting there a while. Did he have to do something?
I don't know,
there he goes,
but he pulls out now, rejoins, but he's going to be stuck a lap down. And another one of our front runners, so Eli Hinton, is now going to have to battle Joshua Banks for the free pass. Probably not what Hinton wanted, actually, to have a good car like that stuck a lap down with him.
Yeah, it's effectively gonna annihilate his chances unless Banks can get back up there and get around, which he should be able to. That 36 car is fast, so yeah, I am just really curious why on earth they came down pit road.
Well, I guess that we'll never know. And restart. Nice quick cautions here at Rockingham, and the field getting waved back around. We'll have 18 cars for the restart of the 24 that we started the night with. And about 14 of those will be on the lead lap. And Martin Sproul, Yusuf Ghali starting all the way back in row number 5 for the restart, Finian.
Yeah,
and they're on older tires than the guys on the front row.
This is gonna get interesting. This caution, I love when cautions come out in the middle of a run like this. Turns the entire race on its head here. We got Bailey Turner and Angelo Ronis leading the field down to green here. As we're coming to 35 laps to go. This is going to be a fun end of this race.
Well, Ronis and Bailey Turner ran like this for about 5 or 10 laps earlier in the night. And I think Ronis ended up winning that battle. We'll see how they do. Running out of laps, 35 to go. Green flag back in the air.
Do a big sec on midfield, but Bailey Turner is going to beat everyone to the line. Down into turn 1 they will go, as Ronis is trying to defend off Alex Bell and William Troy behind.
Everyone scrambling, trying to get positions. It's going to be a dogfight out of turn 2. The one, Agali, pops out of line to the inside of the 16. That's Clifton Cockrell, who's a lap down. But for that top spot, Bailey Turner's got it. He's got 34 laps to hang on to this one to get himself a victory.
Yeah, really, we're keeping our eyes on Ghali. He's the highest runner so far. Whoa!
Carpe was on the apron down into turn 1 and slipped back up onto the racetrack, and it's scattered everybody. Butler out of the way as well, trying to miss all the chaos in front of him. And that's David Mott Jr. in the middle. It's going to be 3 wide for a second, and the one backs out. Lakatos on the outside.
Yeah, and Ghali's got to be careful too. He's fighting with that 19, and they're both all fighting their way up into the front of the field.
And Butler as well. Have to keep this 6 car clean. If you want to make the gains on the 13 like you were before the yellow, you have to keep your car in good shape here. Closing in on 30 to go. No challenge at the front. It's the mid-pack battle we're watching.
Here comes Sproul now to the inside of Yusuf Ghali there, duking it out side by side.
Three wide here in the middle of the pack as the one car is on the inside of the one. No, he turns him into the fence. Caution out. And, oh, Miller got clobbered at the end. That just sucks. And the 41 just drove up into the fence out of turn 2. And nothing the one car could have done to miss that.
Yeah, he was just a victim, and fortunate because he's obviously one of the guys been watching all race with a chance at the win here. And that effectively right there is going to end his chances.
Oh. And Miller almost had it missed. Right on board him here. And the one just snapped back to the left at the last second, and big hit for the 30 on the inside wall. The 41 was never going to make that exit that high up, and just kept his, just got tight. And damage to one of the front runners on the night. And Pit stops underway, and I think this kind of equalizes a lot of drivers out, but not everyone pitted here, Finian. Look, Ronis and Sprouse stayed out.
Interesting there. I think Turner felt like he didn't really have much of a shot staying up there. I think he figured might as well come down, get some fresh rubber for a last run here.
Do you think he thought more people would come with him?
I think he probably definitely thought in that, but unfortunately, not. Actually, I mean, quite a few guys did come down. I'm looking here. Only actually of the competitive cars up in the front here.
Only 2 stayed out.
Only 2 stayed out. So a lot of cars did come out. Unfortunately, one of them is one of the fastest guys on the race, and I think regardless with older tires, I think that 19 is going to be the guy to beat.
Well, the other thing is that take a look at our laps since pit. Sprou's been out on tires for 14 laps, but at least half of that has been under yellow flag conditions. So I don't really think the tire advantage is going to be huge, and considering Sproul was a lot faster than Turner earlier on equal tires, I think Sproul just might be a little bit faster on older tires.
What that caution, one guy was happy to see that caution come out is Joshua Banks. That puts him back on the lead lap back in 14th. So,
well, it's 132 laps of 160 complete here in Thunder Rally. It's the penultimate race of the season. Where do we end our season? In 2 weeks at Atlanta Motor Speedway, like the days of old.
I was 2 weeks, thought it was next week.
Yeah,
Oops.
and yeah, we're at Watkins Glen next week, and that's not why we're not racing here, but it's a fun little factoid. But 2 weeks from now will be the season finale, and if we thought tonight was slick and slippery, just wait till you get your paws on Atlanta's surface. That track is slippery.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. I don't think I've seen this car race at Atlanta, so I feel like it's definitely going to be a little bit slippery, but I don't feel like it's going to be as slippery as we see in years past.
I think it's going to be low grip slippery when there's no downforce, so restarts and starts might be chaotic, but once the guys have downforce on the cars, once they're moving, I think it'll be fine. But we have seen these cars like to step out. It's just easier to save them, so it might just be kind of a wild race to watch with people slipping and sliding as the lights shut off on the pace car, and this 19 probably sits in one of the better spots to win. I think what should happen is we go 10 to 15 laps, we get a caution, everyone comes to pit lane, and this 19 car just put himself in a fantastic spot to win the race.
Yeah, I think everything's lining up in his favor for the race win here, and I'm sure he'll be elated for that. After only a few starts to get his first win in this series, especially considering how competitive these guys are, it's no easy feat to get a win in the Outsiders Racing League, but I think Sprout definitely wants to join the list of guys who have this season.
Well, it's been kind of a crazy race, and the evidence of that, 13 lead changes here at this racetrack. We've had 6 cautions for 21 laps, and I don't think we're done yet, Finian. I think you're right about that. Well, the Rock always puts on good racing. High banks, small track, lots of cars. The pace car is going to peel off, hopefully for the final time. About 11 minutes worth of racing. It's just under 30 laps. About 26 laps of racing left, and Ronis takes him back to the green.
Great start for the 29. Here comes Bailey Turner and the 19 finding it out. Whoa-oh.
Sprout drops out of the timing. He's back for a moment. That was a scary moment. Oh, he's in the wall at a 2. Oh, man.
That flash might have distracted him for a bit, and he's getting completely freight train on the inside line.
And here comes Elliott Butler. This is another car we're watching. He's the only one that can dethrone Eli Hinton off the top of the points. And he's only got 2 races left to do it, make it 1 at the end of this night. So Butler's got to be aggressive in these next 20 or so laps.
Yeah, Sproul from 2nd to 7th in only 1 lap. Meanwhile, for the lead, Bailey Turner dogging and fighting with the 29. They fought early in the race. Now it's for the lead.
Yeah, it's going to make quick work of him here. The fresh tires make that a lot easier this time. Carpe throwing a block on William Troy. Caution behind. It's Trejo spinning on the front straight. He'll get back rolling in his number 11 Camaro, our 7th caution of the evening. And the pace beginning to slow here in the closing moments. And just got loose and got turned off the nose of the 21. Nothing Chambliss did wrong, just in the wrong place.
Yep, and you would think with all the cautions we had for quite a, not that there's been a whole lot, but there's been quite a few, that Eli Hinton would have somehow gotten on the lead lap, but nope, it'll be Jeremiah Vincent getting the free pass just ahead of that 13.
That's just another dagger for the 13's chances, and the 6, I'm not sure if Butler is really aware at how how many trials and tribulations the 13 has had today. I do know, however, that we have a bunch of cars hitting pit lane, and the 19 is one of them. Good call here, I think. He was not going to go anywhere on those old tires.
Yeah, I'm curious if that start was either him just being distracted from the internet, or if the tires were that bad that he just went straight up into the wall.
Well,
so
they weren't that old. I just think it was the 2 or 3 heat cycles he had on them that really wore out the rubber. So he'll try again. He's in that first pit box. That'll help him out here. So getting tires and fuel for the last 20 or so laps. It'll be about 21 or 20 laps to go when we get the restart.
How about Bailey Turner if he were to win this race? I mean, look at that car. That thing has definitely seen better days.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't really call Rockingham a short track, but a lot of these cars look like they've just done 1,000 laps at Martinsville.
Yeah, that thing missing its entire rear end. It looks like that car should be a lap down, but he's shown that he's still got some really solid pace in that 24, despite all the damage to his car.
Well, he's been in as many accidents as the 13. I think Bailey's just done a better job managing the repairs and keeping himself on that lead lap. Because you need to be on the lead lap to fight for spots. And right now, Hinton is now in the free pass position, but another car that is as well is Clifton Cockrell. And Cockrell's car is in much better shape than Eli's. So I don't think the 13's even in a good spot still. But look at Finian, look at the list of drivers who are out. Yusuf Ghali, Gerald Campbell, Evan Black, Adam Cabot. Those 4 drivers were basically our top 4 for the first 50 or so laps of the race, and they're all crashed out.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing, and just entirely how the front part of this field has shifted, especially in the last 20 or so laps. It's really completely changed face, and still hasn't reverted back. We still got Banks trying to find his way to the front, although he's gotten a lot closer. He's up in the 5th. Still has a ways to go, though.
We should get the 1 to green this time by. We'll restart with 21 laps to go. And now that we've kind of switched up the pit stops a little bit, who you got your eye on now? Are you looking at that 24?
I want to, but I feel like that 36 of Banks being in 5th, he's really close there. He has a really good pace compared to a lot of the guys in front of him. And his next competitor really is the 19, who's 2 rows behind him, albeit with fresher tires. I think I'm going to go with the 36.
Interesting choice. Field doubled back up again for the restart, and now we're down to 15 cars on the lead lap. Eli Hinton 16th, 1 lap down, as is Clifton Cockrell, but he's 17th. The first 8 rows of cars still running on the lead lap. I don't think everyone's a winning race car. I think there's probably 2 or 3 that are capable of it. I think that 24 is one of them. I think that 36 is one of them. I think Elliott Butler is one of them. I don't know if the 19 can go 9 spots in 20 laps. That would be a tall hill to climb here in the closing moments. Pace car going to peel off again. 21 laps to go. If it goes green, 8.5 minutes worth of racing. Bailey Turner, Alex Bell on the front row. Green flag back in the air.
Fantastic start for Bailey Turner. Everyone else trying to get up to speed. Banks making a pass to the inside of Troy as they head up into turn 1.
Great move by the 36. Oh, going to be crash again. The 50 spinning down in turn 1. Does he save it? No, and this gets clobbered by the 16 of Cockrell, and Eli Hinton is going to get the free pass this time.
I'm sure he's happy that he finally got it.
What was that down in turn 1? I think we just had too many cars, and the 87 of Troy just drifted up and got into the 50, turned him around, and nothing Cockrell could have done to miss that. And the first half of this race was really pretty clean and green. The last half has been a bit messier, as I think the intensity has ratcheted up. And really into the final hour and a half worth of racing in the season. And big damage there for the 16 and for the 50 of Lakatos. But Hinton going to be graced with that free pass. He'll get his lap back and hopefully be able to gain some positions these last 15 or 20 laps and negate that advantage that Butler has, because Butler sits 3rd.
Yeah, if this race were to finish the way it was, it would be a huge swing into Elliott's favor. But Hinton would still have the points lead, don't get me wrong, but it would have been a lot closer. But Hinton, there he is going around the field, will finally get back on the lead lap.
Looking at the top 15, there is 1 Toyota and that would be Angelo Ronis. The rest, Chevrolet Camaros. Like a Chevy dealership out there right now.
I know a lot of the Toyotas, I think, are actually pretty
Crashed?
much, yeah. Or actually, just not even here. I'm actually looking at the names of guys here listed. A lot of them are in a Chevy, so.
Well, they have a Roval configuration here, Finian.
We don't talk about it.
I think we should talk about it. Why not?
It's not that good.
We should. I think we should run it backwards.
There's
We should run it back.
much better
We should run it
options.
backwards with F1 cars.
See, that I would actually watch.
Or we could run it upside down.
Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart probably won. No, Tony Stewart running backwards with half a field going one way and the other half going the other.
Should we race it with RC planes and stream that. Red Bull Air Races, Rockingham Road Course.
I actually stopped doing that. The Red Bull Air Races.
I know. I only ever watched it like once on TV. but I still admit I was sad when they stopped doing them.
You know, honestly, with that note too, the only time I remember seeing it on TV was in our cafeteria area at university, and we were just sitting in front. I'm like, oh look, planes on TV.
You know, it's one of those things that like you would never actually watch, but you still want it to exist for selfish reasons. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a really cool and unique thing. So yeah, it's unfortunate that it's shutting down.
I guess we could try it with like satellites or something. Watch it with a really long telescope.
No, once rocket launches get commercialized.
Rocket racing? Oh my God, there's an idea. That's pretty much what drag racing is. They just do it horizontally. Well, 18 to go. It's going to be 17 this time through. Bailey Turner's been having some phenomenal restarts. I just don't know if he's got the best car out there.
Well, if we continue at the rate we're going at, I don't really think it's going to matter a whole lot. I'm sure he wants this pace to continue. He doesn't really have to fight with a lot of guys, although Banks moved up another spot on the restart. Again, not a huge improvement, but every little bit counts, and he's slowly closing in. So is the 6 of Butler. Don't count him out just yet.
Yeah, he hasn't been to victory lane yet, the 6 car, but this could be his night. He's got the cleanest looking car inside the top 5.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the one to watch.
Yep. Got, looks like, so coming to this restart here, 2 Hunt Motorsports drivers on the inside, 2 SWA drivers on the outside. So it's going to be interesting.
Coming to the restart, it's going to be 16 laps to go. We've had, 8 cautions at this point? And Bailey Turner's been in control ever since he got a lucky one that kept him out on the before he came to pit road. He's had some bad luck lately. Some good luck tonight for that 24 Exalta driver. Pace car is going to peel off. 16 laps to go in the penultimate race of the 2019 Outsider Racing League, and Turner takes off.
And he's going to try to run away with this green flag back in the air as now here comes Elliott Butler racing Alex Bell to the inside. They will go. Austin Carpe in 4th. He's come out of nowhere.
Austin Carpe was a lap down earlier in the night. Here he is inside the top 5, right on the tail hook of the 15 as they enter turn 3. Sparks flying, cars side by side, but Butler in 2nd place. Can he hunt down Bailey Turner, get his first win of the season, and vault him into championship contention in 2 weeks at Atlanta?
He's definitely going to try in that 6. We'll see if he can reel him in. Alex Bell not looking too shabby. Behind them, though, Carpe holding up Banks and Martin Sproul, the 2 fastest guys left in this race. Here comes Banks to the inside of the 9.
Oh, Banks to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side for P4 at the moment, and Sproul following, hoping these 2 get together so he can go around and attack those top 4 drivers.
And it looks like Banks is just barely going to get around Carpe. He's going to clear him off at 2. Ooh, that 9 in the wall a little bit.
Carpe scraped the fence out of turn 2. And Sproul takes advantage, drops to the inside. He'll take 5th place away for the top spot. Turner beginning to stretch out just a little bit on Elliott Butler, but don't count that 6 car out yet. Last time by, only 7 thousandths between them in pace.
Meanwhile, behind them for 3rd, Alex Bell. He's got his teammate Joshua Banks behind. Let's see how this plays out here.
Side by side, this is for 3rd place. Banks to the inside, takes it away. Bell looked like he gave that spot to him. I don't think he'll give it so easily to Sproul, though.
I think he's going to try to hold Sproul, be a good teammate here, try to keep that 19 in behind, but Sproul, much fresher tires and a better car. He's going to just warp it around the inside, and there he goes.
12 laps to go now. Bailey Turner by 2/10. Butler is closing Finian. Can he get the win here? He's got 12 laps to prove himself in that Pennzoil 6.
Well, honestly, if I was Elliott Butler, I wouldn't be worried about the car in front of me. I'd be worried about the 2 cars behind me.
And they are coming. It's Banks and Sproul. It's only 11 laps. It's not a whole lot of time. But Butler certainly has pressure in front and behind. Ooh, Sproul scraped the fence out of turn 4. Got a little bit of right side damage and threw some sparks up. But the last time by, the quickest car of the top 5 was Elliott Butler by about 200ths of a second over Bailey Turner. Meanwhile, Ronas popping out of line to the inside of Bell. That's for 5th.
Ronas is going to make that pass clear, and that 15 now trying to hold up Carpe as they're going to start duking it out for 6th place.
That time by, Turner was quicker by a 10th. 9 laps to go now.
I'm actually kind of surprised that the top 2 guys are the fastest, although it does look like Banks starting to really reel them in.
The Banks was 2/10 quicker than Butler and a 10th quicker than Bailey Turner last time through. Banks has won a couple races this season. Butler has not. 8 laps to go now, and Butler closed that time by a 10th.
Bailey Turner trying to get his 2nd win of the season. Elliott Butler his 1st. Banks trying to get his 4th win of the season. It'll be the highest of all the drivers in the series if he does get the win for that 36.
Consistency has not been there for the 36. The wins column could grow to be the most of any driver, but Butler trying to get his name on that board. He's got 1 car to pass to get it done. 6 laps to go next time by. Banks closing from behind. Bailey Turner getting closer from in front.
Yeah, they're all closed in up on each other, but they've kind of stalled out for now. Here's they're heading to 6 to go.
Oh, I think Butler's really a lot faster than Turner. That time through it was a full 10th between them. But Banks was quicker than both.
Here he comes. Butler is looking for lanes now. He's caught up to the back bumper of that 24, what little remains of it, and is now trying to find a lane to pass.
That could be tricky for Butler. You can't really do a bump and run on a car with no rear bumper. And you might have to get creative with it because Banks is there behind as well. 5 laps to go at Rockingham. Turner, Butler, Banks are top 3.
Actually, as they come off of turn 2, you might want to not even throw Martin Sproul out just yet. He's starting to close in on the leaders now.
Oh, big slip by Butler and by Turner out of turn 4. But Butler is there. He's going to have to get aggressive if he wants to get by this 24, though. 4 laps to go. He's there.
He's been closing up on the bumper in 1 and 2, but just not been close enough to make any sort of move here. And he's starting to run out of laps.
He's close enough to lunge for it, but he's going to have to move the 24. It's going to be 3 laps to go. He's right there on the bumper of that 24 car.
He's going to get aggressive. You want to be careful of his teammate, but, you know, you got a championship on the line here.
Some drivers would dump their teammate. Some drivers would dump their mom. But Bailey Turner is going to hope that Butler won't dump his teammate. Going to be 2 laps to go. Turner goes to block. Here comes Butler to the inside.
Butler going to clip the apron. They're both going to go up the hill. They're going to lose
no,
time.
Banks is going to get into him.
36.
They turn. They save it somehow. And Martin Sproul.
Middle of them. He'll go up in the 2nd place.
No, they're still going to crash.
They're still not crashed just yet. Butler getting moved by the 36.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Sproul only 6/10 back. He's got fresher tires than Turner. He was 2/10 faster last time by. Is he going to be fast enough?
I don't think so. Here they come. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. They're going to race to the line.
A chaotic race. Turner threw a block. The 6 car took the bait, went to the inside, couldn't make the corner, came back down to block Banks. They both tangled in turn 4, but for Bailey Turner, it's been a tumultuous season. In championship contention, maybe not. But a race winner at Rockingham, put it on the board. Bailey Turner wins the penultimate race of the 2019 season.
And great drive it was for that 24 car, considering how beat up that car is. Great run for him. Martin Sproul, I'm sure he's going to be just a little bit disappointed, just short of the mark in 2nd place. Angelo Ronas, he's going to come across the line in 4th. Joshua Banks going to take a controversial 3rd. And Elliott Butler will come also disappointed in 5th.
For the 6 and the 36, there it is.
Oh, they're not done.
I don't think they're happy with each other. Clashing on the front straight. Drama. And the teammates crash on pit lane entry. anger and frustration for the drivers that had the chance to win the race. But for Turner, victory. I don't think we've seen a more dramatic last couple laps in a few weeks. And a skilled burnout for sure.
Turner definitely earned that one. Fantastic job for this race. Got it handed to him, and he took advantage of it. I'm honestly quite surprised. I thought he would have fallen off pace just a little bit, but held on to it and really showed what he had.
Leaving a trail of tire marks from turn 1 to turn 4. That 24, you're right, he earned it. I mean, he outdrove everybody and threw a block. The 6 car took the bait. Let's go back and watch those closing laps again. And I just want to enjoy that block that Bailey threw, because it was about as late as you can throw a block and not kill somebody. But let's go back and take a look. Here it is. And he sees the 6 car coming, and he went defensive originally, and it really wasn't a block. The 6 car, it wasn't a block at all. The 24 just went defensive.
Yeah.
And
he did give Butler the inside lane. Unfortunately, I mean, you can't really do much, especially considering how worn the tires are worn out at this point, and the Banks just going for it, got into the 6.
Yeah, then he just came back down, and 36 was there. And they tangle. And then they weren't done here. The 19 splits them up the middle. And then they get together down in turn 1. Banks turning the 6. I think that's where the frustration from Butler came from. And we clearly saw that Banks got his payback here. But dramatic post-race interaction. Let's actually just keep watching the interactions here the last couple laps or so. As Bailey Turner just drove away, making it look easy after all that. Martin Sprouse, second place. We talked about him being so impressive so far this season. And then Banks and Butler. And look at Ronis popping out of line in the final corner. Took a look, and then look at Butler putting pressure on the 29. And Ronis went all the way to the grass out of turn 4. But this is, the 6 tried to drive into the back of the 36 there at the post-race. Oh, they had clashed earlier in the lap as well. So the 6 tried to drive into the 36, and then Banks took the matters into his own hands post-race. And they had incident coming to the pit lane. Drama, action, and victory for the 24 Bailey Turner. Here's a look at your race results. Martin Sprouse, second place. Banks and Butler both still managed top 5s. Ronis splitting them up the middle. Austin Carpe recovers for 6th. Chambliss 7th. Bell 8th. Lakatos 9th. Eddie Trejo gets himself a top 10. And for Eli Hinton, a recovery to 13th place that might have saved his championship hopes. I think there was a certain point in the race where I thought the 6 might walk out of here with the points leader very close to it. And Hinton did his best to negate that. And they're going to walk out of here with the 13 still leading the points. So we'll update you on that when we know. For the moment, we're going to jump to break. We're going to talk to Turner and others in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that is not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered legs? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
Welcome back live to SimTV, here now with 5th place finisher Elliott Butler, who was second in the points coming in. He closed the gap on Eli Hinton in a dramatic way. Elliott, you finished 5th tonight. Could have been a couple spots better. Walk us through those closing laps and the contact with Joshua Banks.
Yeah, I was just kind of riding around trying to chase Bailey down, maybe get close enough to put the bumper to him in the last couple laps there. And got a run on him going on into 3. He blocked me down to the bottom, and I touched the apron with my left sides, and he went wide in the corner, and I pushed up a little bit. And just as we were apexing the corner, Joshua Banks decided to stick his nose in there, which, fair game, it's in the race, I get it. We made contact, but the second time we made contact going into 1 and 2, he just drove into me, was uncalled for, and it cost us a good 6-8 points at least there, if not a chance at the win. Probably really hurt our playoff hopes here, but we still made up a lot of ground, and we got a shot going in next week, so we'll try to get it done.
Atlanta in a couple weeks, a slippery racetrack, a tricky racetrack. What's your plan going in there? Are you going to approach that race any differently, trying to chase down Eli Hinton, or are you going to treat it like every other race and hope things go your way?
I'm going to be keeping an eye on where Eli is at, but for the most part, I'm just going to try to get a little extra practice in and have everything dialed in come race time, and maybe get a top 2-3 finish at least. And if Eli struggles a little bit, that should put us in a good position.
All right, well, Elliott Butler, 5th place, not quite as good as it could have been, but still a top 5 result for the 6th. Elliott, thanks for talking.
Thanks, man.
All right, we'll move on to the next driver. It's going to be, I believe, we're going to talk to, I don't even know who Finian's got. Up next, it's going to be Angelo Ronas, driving the number 29 Toyota. Angelo, a top 5 finish. Some crazy last laps there. Just walk us through from inside your cockpit, because you were outside of the drama, but I want to see what it was like from your perspective.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, whenever I saw Banks and Butler just get together like that, I thought we were going to get a green-white checkered after that, but somehow they didn't wreck. But yeah, it was definitely exciting to watch. I'm just glad I wasn't involved in any of that.
Throughout the race, we saw you kind of running the high side a lot more than anybody else, and really defending your position well. Was there some frustration between you and other drivers out there tonight because they were struggling so bad to get by you on the inside?
Funny enough, I was kind of talking to Bailey about that, how I just want to make sure I'm going to defend my position, but I'm also going to give you as much room as possible. But yeah, it was It's definitely fun going on the outside. I thought I got more momentum. Anytime I tried the inside, it just didn't work.
All right, well,
Ended up P4 out.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Angelo, but a fourth place result. Looking forward to 2 weeks at Atlanta. Are you excited for that race, or are you not excited for that race? And how do you think the new package is going to race there at such a slippery track?
If you would have told me that when we had the old package, I would have been ecstatic, but not knowing what we're going to do with this new package there, it's definitely raises some questions, so definitely going to have to practice there a lot, but who knows, maybe it'll.
All right, well, Ronas, fourth place tonight in the number 29. Angelo, thanks for talking.
Yep, thanks, man.
Moving on next to the driver, the number 36, Joshua Banks, a third place tonight. Some dramatic moments in those closing laps. Josh, walk us through the contact with the 6 and the last couple laps in the subsequent incident post-race. Walk us through.
No, we just had a rough night tonight, and we finally got a opportunity to get up front, 10 for the lead. Saw what we got, and saw a hole. I took it, and it shut real quick, and it caused us both to wreck. And I was a little frustrated about that. So then from there on, it just went downhill. I mean, we finished pretty good. I ain't complaining. I mean, the night wasn't the greatest, but I wish we were up front. But I had a shot for the win. Felt pretty quick there at the end, and it just got shot down, in my opinion. But that's whatever. It's racing. I mean, I'm here just to race. I know he's racing or most of these guys are racing for points, trying to get championship, but I'm trying to win. There are other drivers here too, so it ain't just them on the track. So just do what we can and go into next week for the finale. See what we do there. If we can come out on top.
All right. Well, Joshua Banks, third place tonight, the number 36 SWA Motorsports Camaro. Josh, thanks for talking.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
Moving on now to Martin Sproul, who finished second place tonight in his number 19. Martin, it's been a phenomenal couple of weeks for you in that 19. Probably at a race-winning pace, but a series of cautions kind of took you out of contention for the win at least, but a hard-fought battle back to second place. Walk us through your night.
Yeah, just way too many mistakes. Anytime it came to the pits, it was just mistake after mistake. But it was fun driving back up through the field. I really enjoyed it. That's one of my favorite tracks.
Rockingham was kind of a wild one, but we head to Atlanta in 2 weeks for the season finale. Expectations for that race, and how do you think this car is going to race there on the slippery 1.5 mile track?
I hope it's just as good as it was here. I like the car when it's not tight and it's not loose. It's kind of like right where you want it. So hopefully it end up being something similar.
In terms of tonight, we talked early, Fanny and I, about the multiple grooves here at Rockingham. Did you feel like you were able to move around and make passes, or did you feel like you had to make them on the bottom and you could only really defend on the high side?
Through 1 and 2, it was strictly bottom. Through 3 and 4, if the guy on the bottom made a little mistake, you'd be able to get around him on the top. But it was a lot at the bottom. So if you got underneath somebody, you had a good chance.
All right, well, Martin Sproul, second place in the number 19. Another great finish for the newcomer to the series. Martin, thanks for talking.
Thank you.
Moving on now to race winner Bailey Turner. Bailey, I think it's safe to say that Finn and I did not expect you to win this race if you had looked about 100 laps ago. But a series of chaotic events towards the end of the race, some well-timed cautions, and a car that was just barely hanging together with some duct tape and zip ties. You won the race. Talk to us about those last couple laps.
Yeah, that was a pretty eventful race for me there. That pit strategy, I was just trying to stay out longer than those guys. I felt like I was good in the long run, and I was just thinking, you know what, there's been so many cautions in this race. I'd be surprised if we didn't get one, and luckily that caution came out on the front stretch right just in time, and after that, just trying to do everything I could to maintain that track position there. And yeah, Elliott was definitely faster than me, especially with that damage in my car. I feel like I had no rear drive really left in the car compared to when I wasn't damaged. And it kind of helped as far as not getting loose on exit, but Elliott definitely made up a lot of time in the middle of the corner. And yeah, I gave him the outside, thinking I was like, I just got to defend my position down here and hope for the best. The inside seemed to be the dominant lane the whole night. And then he went down low, and I tried to give him enough room to at least make the corner. We both had bad corners, and I was thinking to myself, oh, great, here comes Joshua. And those two made contact, and I luckily just got to drive away. And I mean, sometimes you get handed ones like that, but you still got to take advantage and do it. So I'm happy with that.
with all the bad luck in recent weeks, both in the VRL side as well, does this feel like a little bit of redemption, or is there still something in the back of your mind that still is kind of bugging you about how you lost some races in the past?
Yeah, I definitely feel like at least in the BRL, two of them I had in the bag, and internet issues, power issues randomly. Both got hanging me. I even lagged a couple times during this race, and that kind of scared me. And luckily, the internet held on long enough and got it done. So I missed a few weeks anyway, so I know I'm not in the championship battle, so I'm just showing up here. Trying not to mess with the guys, but still putting up a good show and trying to win a race.
All right, well, Bailey Turner, another win this season. Well earned that time for the 24 after it kind of fell in his lap, but he took advantage of it. Bailey, thanks for talking. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Well, Finian, that was an exciting race. I don't think Rockingham has ever really disappointed on SimTV before, but that was probably the best one we've seen, probably the best race we've seen in quite some time. And I know the Hash It Out channel right now is pretty busy at the moment, but pretty wild race for sure. Finian, thoughts leaving Rockingham?
They need to add this thing to the Cup schedule ASAP, because this track has been putting on some fantastic racing. I especially love just the way it's been racing with this newer package. It's crap on a lot of other tracks, but here put on a fantastic show. Guys able to use multiple lanes to their advantage. Really hard-fought racing and a fantastic show, and a little bit of drama going to next week.
Yeah, and also
the next 2 weeks.
Yes, the points as well closed up quite a bit, and Eli Hinton within distance of being struck by that 6 car of Elliott Butler. What are the chances that this 13 car does not win the championship?
I mean, honestly, it could be really anything. I mean, definitely that 13's got the advantage, but you never know. Remember, we were saying it earlier, Elliott definitely the most consistent out of a lot of the championship runners this season so far. That's why he's in second right now. If Eli makes a mistake, it's going to fall into the 6's hands. He's that close.
The sun is setting on Rockingham, North Carolina, as it is on the season. The golden glow of another race complete here in the Outsider Racing League. Bailey Turner comes out on top with some drama and a little bit of everything in between. My name's Kyle Heyer alongside Finian Dacuna. Thanks for watching. You're going to see the 3-Wide Racing League on tomorrow night as well as on Monday. And the next stream you're going to see is going to be on Sunday night next week as well. So we have a whole week off in between. But tomorrow night, 3-Wide Racing League. We'll see you there, 9:50 p.m. Have a good night.